guys, welcome. This is Bridger. He's my uncle. Say hi, Bridger.
Hey, what's up, guys?
He's gonna tell us
The best UFO story you'll ever hear. When the experience happened, I posted about it on Facebook with the UFO, and I could not find it anywhere. So all I know is it was around 2013. I'm like 19 years old. We're just hanging out in his guest house, and his dad is like a real burly, just like a mean dude. And he comes into the guest house and he's like, "Get your asses outside right now." And so we're like, "Oh crap, what did we do? We're in so much trouble." Like, all right, we're coming. And so we go outside, and his dad and mom are both just looking at the sky with binoculars, and we're like, okay, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And they bring us over, and you could see the light. There's this light that's flashing every single color, right? So that's the first thing that you could see. You could see it with your naked eye really easily, and it looked like a concert or like a rave going on out like in this, like, you know, out in the sky. And what was interesting about it, though, what his dad noticed about it, and like the reason why he got us out there, was it could move across the sky. You could tell this thing was so far away. Like through the binoculars, it only made it, you know, like barely any bigger, where it's not a drone. You couldn't hear it, so there was no noise. Like it looked like a star, really. Like it looked like as far as a star. And but what would happen is it would dart across the sky. If you put like your like arm, you know, out like this, and you put like 2 inches with your fingers, which that's a giant, if you think about how far this thing is, that's a giant piece of sky, where it would be right here that fast. It would just boop, and it'd be over here. And it did this for like 30 minutes or so. But then also what it started doing is the lights, like oh, and by the way, none of us were drinking or on any you know, we were all sober. And there was let's see, his mom and dad at the time were like, you know, probably in their 50s. Me and Freddie and Steven were in our late teens. We're all, you know, sober-minded. There's like 5 of us there. We're not losing our minds or anything like that. But anyways, the lights, they started getting a lot bigger. It was almost like it was like blowing up into like a lot brighter and bigger, to where it looked like it was growing. I don't even really know how to describe it, to be honest. But
like, was it like coming closer to you, or was it like physically like actually getting bigger?
See, I don't know. It could have possibly literally been coming closer, like that fast. But
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to ask Freddie if, like, you know, if there's anything else crazy that night that happened, but we watched it we were just mesmerized for like 30 minutes or an hour, just watching this thing. And then as soon as it's, you know, it's just pointlessly, it's like aimlessly just darting across the sky so fast, defying all laws of physics, where we're like, there's no way that this is even possible. But as soon as you know, we're watching it, all of a sudden it's just gone. And like we all got to see it, just like it was a very short spurt of light. Just
when it was moving, you're saying it's like it's darting, but then is it like moving in other directions? So it's like, it's not a, how do I say that, like it's not like a plane to where it's like slowly turning. It's like stop abruptly, like jagged movement.
Yes, exactly.
And
there was no, the weird thing was there was no like really like point to it.
Yeah.
So when I say when it's moving, you barely, like, you really didn't even get to see it move, where it's like that fast. It's just darting, stopping. It's like you didn't even really see it move. It's just, it was here, now it's there. And it's like, and so it sounds like it could be like
teleporting almost.
Well, yeah, that, or it could be like a really, I mean, I don't even know what that would be. But like a way to explain it would be like a big craft that just has lights in different areas. Like, but either way, that would be a giant. That's not a
normal size.
Yeah. Especially because it's interesting that you would like say all of that, because that's like spot on to like almost all UFO like encounters, to where it's like it's moving in this way that isn't, it defies physics. Because if this was a person, or like if it was in like our laws of gravity, stopping abruptly in a plane, boom, you're dead. Like it's not something that happens. So like that's really cool that you say that. That's so interesting.
And I mean, okay, so that night, you know, we like stayed up all night trying to figure out like what that could possibly even be, because it doesn't make sense to be a craft, because it's like, so is it like a natural phenomena of some strange starlight, or like
right,
or is it, because really like I try to think of like, okay, let's say it's aliens. What would be how do their bodies take that like G-force or whatever that even would be?
It would have to be something, either it'd be technology that we have like no idea what it is, or it's like something different, like something dimensional to where they can I don't even know, defy gravity or something
like the time that they're not interacting within our time limits, or our time like scale or something.
Wow,
like a different dimension or something.
Wait, that's such a good way to think about it, actually, because it really made no sense. What it was doing, it just made no sense.
Because if you think about it, like as you're saying, when something's that tiny and that far away, like that could take miles and miles and miles, could take months practically, you know what I mean? Like
those could be light years. They could be traveling like
whereabouts in the sky, like was it straight up overhead, or like out more like over the horizon, or like generally where would you say?
It was, I'm gonna say like, all right, so if we got 90 degrees like is straight up, like 45 degrees, you know, in between the horizon and the and like the cool part about it is there was other stars in the sky. Well, not other stars, but there was stars in the sky that we could compare the light to, and so we could see, like we could actually track its movement. So that's where we were just like, this is impossible. What is that? Like, what? Like I don't know how to explain it, but.
And the length of time, I feel like, is really unique, because oftentimes people say, you know, I looked up, I saw this thing,
and then gone.
I blinked and it was gone, or whatever.
It was a show. It was a whole entire show.
Wow.
We were just like,
the aliens are just partying.
Well, I remember when you told me about it, that you were like, it was like they were just like having an alien rave. I remember you said it like that, like with the light.
That was what I came up with at the time, because that was like my best guess.
That honestly the way makes a lot of sense.
I mean, maybe they are.
Because it's okay. So I didn't like, you couldn't see a spaceship, right? So all what I'm calling a spaceship was just these lights that were like purple, yellow, green, red, blue, like blinking so fast. Whereas every single color. So it looked like a rave or a party. And they're just like, maybe they're just partying up there and just like, let's start across the sky over here. And like, I don't know.
We got a bunch of drunk driving. Oh no.
Oh shoot. Toby, this is like the second time we've ever had like technical difficulties.
That's so true, bro. Oh my gosh.
Every time.
We've never had this before. No. Like even like, and we used to do these episodes, like I used to film them in my room, and it was like first of all, like at the bottom of the house,
Yes.
covered in a brick, like surrounded in like asphalt and
Yeah.
like so, and the connection was never bad. There he
Hey, what's up, guys?
is.
Hey, you
He's
didn't get
back.
abducted. Yay.
Abducted by the aliens. He just got
Not this
probed.
time.
During the whole experience, what was the like general emotion? Like, what was the vibe? What were you feeling? Were you like scared or nervous, or were you like excited, or like or
Impartial.
nothing?
Yeah, did you like
The general vibe between like the group was just kind of it was kind of weird. Like we were all just kind of quiet. We didn't really know what to say really, where we just kind of felt weird, you know? Because we were just like
to know like what it was, to know how to got you. Okay.
Yeah, and we didn't like none of us really had like any intelligent idea on what it could possibly be. So we were just kind of like looking at each other like is this real? Like what's
so
happening?
funny.
You know, like I don't know. It's one of those. It was honestly like there's not very many moments in life like that where you're just dumbfounded to the point where you're just like, I don't know, you know.
Yeah,
like
totally. Where you just don't even know, like you don't have any idea what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, you start to question your whole reality. You're like, wait a minute, am I real? Like,
Yeah.
was this all just like a fake joke, like
A
up until
big
this
dream.
point? Like,
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Another question, like had you had any like thoughts about aliens? Like were you ever like thinking about it before this, like as like a passing thought or like anything like that? Like any opinions on aliens before this happened?
Not at all, except I think that one time when we were coming home from Mexico, do you remember that, Katie, when I think it was just like a rocket takeoff or something that we got to see?
Yeah.
I forget what that was, but we were like
we looked it up, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but we were driving home from Baja. So I think we figured it was like coming from some military base in the States. Like we were close enough to getting back to the States that I feel like once we got back into the country, we like looked it up or something. Yeah.
What part of Mexico was it?
Oh, that it happened? Oh gosh. It was somewhere in Baja.
Somewhere in Baja. Is that like
the border?
Okay, got you.
So not like true Mexico, but
I wonder if there's any. Yeah, I'm gonna look something up real quick. You guys can keep talking.
Okay. But yeah, I feel like I remember thinking like, oh, okay, this must be more like military or like something related to that, because I feel like it was really crazy to see, but it had a more like normal flight path or something, if I remember.
Yeah. I think it was because it was just like a big green, like what even was it? It was like a big green trail from like whatever rockets do.
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever they like
emit,
out.
whatever gases or something like that. Yeah.
But I remember like that kind of curing or like giving me curiosity to it. But besides that, never really. And I didn't even really think like Area 51 or whatever it's. I didn't even think that was a thing. Like I didn't even consider aliens even being a thing. And so, like back to the vibe of that night, it was kind of, you know, it was just very mind opening. Where like you don't really know what to think or how to feel. You know?
Did you guys like? I know you and Freddie kept talking about it. You said, but like overall, after that night, did you guys like keep bringing it up, or like once it was done, was it kind of like?
We told the story to like every single one of our friends, but besides that, you know, we haven't. It's one of those things where it was funny because when I called them just a bit ago to try to get info on it, I was like, hey, you know, do you remember this night, whatever, where we saw this crazy light? And at first he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bro, what?
They do say that a common like sign of paranormal activity is like batteries draining.
That's so true. And people do say that, I mean, like we've talked about it before, but one of the theories is that aliens are demons. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something that
Yes.
happens a lot.
Yep.
Or maybe Bridger just doesn't plug the phones in.
Yeah.
I was looking up if the like military bases near Baja.
Oh, yes.
And there
Yeah.
was like one called San Lucas or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But then I was looking up if there was any UFO stuff, and I think
Yeah.
Mexico just kind of does have like
Mm.
UFO stuff a lot, but
Mhm.
there was nothing like specifically jumping out.
Everybody knows this is my first time on a podcast ever,
Yes.
so
Hey.
learning
Yeah,
the
I guess in the
ropes.
beginning-
When I talked to Freddie, he didn't go into detail. He did mention he's been seeing like lots of more things, and I
Oh,
was like,
Okay.
yeah, I was like, okay, so I just got to look out at the sky more, you know? Like,
yeah.
We
You
should
know,
get his
oh, yeah.
contact information because that'd be kind of cool to maybe have him on as well.
oh, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I wish he was here right now.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
He might, yeah, because he might have like other details to the story that I guess I don't even remember, but I
Mhm.
kind of like went over it with him just to, see if there was anything I was forgetting. So,
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much all of it. But
Well, I think that's something that, like, a couple things that jump out to me about it is that one, it wasn't just a.
is that a thing? Can we do that
Well,
on here?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
you're good. You're
Yeah,
good.
you're
Okay.
It wasn't you weren't alone. And so
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fact that there was two people there to witness it is like
Well,
validating for you. And then not only that, but
Yeah.
there was more than two people. So
Yeah.
that makes it to me even more like a group shared experience where you're
Yeah.
all seeing the same thing and can
yeah.
kind of say like, are you seeing that? Are you seeing that? Like, what are you
And
seeing?
being completely sober. It's like
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
it's like it really does validate it more to where
Mhm.
it's like all of these people saw
Mhm.
it and like we all agree like we saw something
Yeah.
that even if it's just something that we can't explain, it's still something, you know?
I
Yeah.
know.
So
I
it's
think
cool.
like the biggest bummer about it is just that we can't explain it. Like we can talk about it, like him and I and his family.
Yeah.
We can be like that was crazy, But
Yeah.
we like we don't have an explanation for
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was, and so it's just like something I'll be wondering the rest of my life, And
Yeah.
like it's even more a bummer that I have these other people that saw it because I know that I wasn't just crazy. I'm like, this thing was real,
That's
and
so
like
true.
I will never. Well, maybe someday I will know, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since then, have you like looked into like UFO stuff, or is it just kind of like this happened to
Just
me? I don't really have any interest in it. It's just something that happened.
well, not until just recently, just because it was coming up on my feed, just the like recent UAP sightings and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was like interested in checking those out, but it's so tough to really get a good idea if what you're looking at online is even like credible at all, if it's
Yeah.
like real, because there's some crazy videos out there right now.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, even just with all of the how literally the government is like, yeah, UFOs are real. Like this is a
Yeah.
thing that we've been looking into. But then it's just like that's it. They dropped that and now they're
Yeah.
gone and they're like, hey, look at this like bomb over here. And we're like,
Yeah.
hey, wait, can we go back to
Like,
the aliens? Come on.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought
It's crazy.
Trump was gonna. Did he release a bunch of info on that, or
I honestly have no idea. He released
he
all
was
the
like,
JFK files, which I was watching a video on that. That stuff is crazy. It's not. It's dumb because it's like it's not even. They're not like saying the FBI or the CIA killed JFK, but they're kind of like, I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. And I'm like, Tom, just kind of like, tell me, what are you doing? Oh, it's so funny.
That's
But
yeah,
that's how life is, I guess.
you're just never gonna know. I do feel like we are coming to like some kind of crossroads in the like realm of UAPs or UFOs
Yeah.
or aliens or whatever. Because I feel like in the past it was like, well, in the way past, it was like this kind of stuff was more socially accepted, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
They wrote about it in the Bible. Like religions
Oh
had
yeah.
old
Yeah.
cultures, like, you know, stuff,
Yeah.
phenomena stuff wasn't weird to them. And
Yeah.
then it was like, it became, I don't know if it was just like when, I don't know, I guess when exactly it shifted from like,
Yeah.
this is normal to like, oh no, now we don't talk about it at all. And
Yeah.
if you do, you're weird.
Yeah.
And like now I feel like then it shifted to almost having to convince people like, no, this, and it's Christians included, like, no, this
Yeah.
stuff actually is real and there's
Yeah.
biblical evidence to it. But I feel like now,
Yeah.
like, there's probably still people who are like that in that
So
boat.
Yeah.
I don't
Totally.
believe it.
you just reminded me of like a very cool like outlook that I actually kind of did have on it, and actually I think is the best outlook on it. Rachel, my friend here, would definitely agree, and she her like take on UAPs, aliens, like just all of this unexplainable stuff that like we get this information from the government now, kind of, but not really. Like it's just
Yeah.
kind of like it's all kind of just out in the air. Okay, so I think it could just, what makes the most sense is just spiritual warfare going on. And like if anything, those lights that were just like darting across the sky was, I mean, what makes the most sense is just like, I don't know, some spiritual warfare going on out there. Like
Yeah,
in another
totally.
dimension that
Yeah.
was crossing through, right? Because really, I don't know. I had more on that, but
I would totally like, yeah, because I mean, it's interesting because I mean, I think with it's just weird how like Christians have such a like truncated view of just like the supernatural, which is crazy to think because we literally believe in a religion where you have a God who created the universe, who died and then rose again, and like healed the blind, did all these things, appeared to like all, but then we're like, but I don't know if like aliens or this or that. But it's like, even if it is just because I would say angels and demons, like that's an alien in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Because
an
it is,
extraterrestrial
it's not a creature. It's anything. Alien is anything that is not of Earth, period. And then when you take in account that, like, I don't like it when like Christians especially say like God wouldn't have done that. Like, you have no idea like the level that God is on, to where you're like, God wouldn't make a like this creature. Like, you have no idea. Like, or even saying something like Jesus was sent like here to die for us. Like, that is like how, like, what if we're just the only culture or people that fell, and there's these other beings that didn't like eat the apple or didn't fall like into this, like, why are we the ones that quote unquote get saved? Like, we didn't get saved. We got saved not by anything we did. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to come and save us. Like, what if he didn't have to go and save them? You know what I'm saying?
okay,
But it's a very, like, they could just be demons or they could just be angels, because like I said, angels, they're just aliens basically that are not of this world. But like,
that is
even,
so true.
Even like, I mean, I'm just kind of talking a lot, but the what is it, the what it was in something, but it's something like, if you could see the amount of warfare, if you could see the creatures or whatever, like, you would be terrified by like what is going on that you can't
like
see
around us, you mean?
Yeah. Even when they say like heavenly beings, like what does that mean? Like multiple beings, like there's multiple creatures in heaven. Even the description of like angels, it's like there's like one with like 100 eyes and
Yeah.
800 like wings, and there's like a head of an ox and a head of a this. Maybe it is like what's the word? Theoretical, or
it's just like the person describing it could only vocalize it through what their brain already knows. So they're like, well, it kind of looked like a
but then there's like forms where it's a physical man appearing to these people, or it's a eye thing, or people getting taken up by like riding golden chariots that could be UFOs. Like it's just all like very blurry stuff.
Okay, so on that note, kind of, I think so, because I mean, really to get the answers, you have to go to the Bible to get, the answer for literally everything. So, but on that note, I think the thing that I saw that night, those things, like you said, are happening around us all the time, right? And somehow, whether it's a different dimension, like, but it's maybe, sorry, I can't talk. Maybe something has been suppressed in us as human beings this day, to where we are not able to like as easily tap into that. And so, like, for some reason, it's more easily observable at times, or it's like
totally.
I don't know.
No, I think that's so true. I think that, like, I've heard it explained as like a couple different ways, but one way that I really liked it was like anyone can do it. It's like a gift or a skill. So like anyone could learn how to play the guitar, but for some people it's natural. You just pick up a guitar and you know how to play. So like for some people, they just really naturally see stuff all the time, and they can't.
And what we do as a society is we call them crazy and we put them in a mental hospital. So those are probably just the people that can actually tap into like what's really going on.
True. It's specifically an American thing, because even when you talk about like witchcraft, let's talk about witchcraft or something like that. Like when you take witchcraft, when you take witchcraft in America, it's like, oh yeah, like you do you, like you can like be your little witch or whatever, like, and it's not even something like talked about. But then like if you were to go to like any other country, literally any other country, Mexico even, which is in like, it's so close to America, but they're like, yeah, witches are a thing, witchcraft is a thing. Like, and it's not even like it's not a good or a bad thing, because it's not like this stuff can be used for good or evil. And like that's a way that maybe Satan wants to try and manipulate people, which, I mean, of course, like you're not always going to get bad stuff from Satan. That's kind of the point. It's like,
this might be a good time to introduce my friend Rachel, because she has the best info on this. I'm not going to lie. Just the best opinion. It's about to get real spiritual and real.
Let's go, folks. We got another guest.
Hi.
So,
everybody, welcome Rachel. What's up?
Okay, so it's also a part of my testimony, which is cool. But one day I was, and it was to give you an idea of kind of the scenery. I was at my apartment in downtown Phoenix, and it was gloomy outside. It was cloudy. It wasn't raining. But I was grabbing groceries from the trunk of my car, and kind of like the instinctual feeling of somebody staring at you, and you kind of just look up and catch eye contact with them. Yeah, so I had that feeling, right? And I look up, and instead of a person, there's this giant black sphere in the sky above the alley, maybe like 30 feet away from me.
Holy crap.
And the color of it is something I will never see in this world. Like, it was indescribable. It was like a black color, but it was also like, I don't even know. I can't even explain it. Like, it was just something I've never seen before. Wow. And so I was just in shock. And in the cartoons when like they rub their eyes to like see what they're looking at. Yeah. So I was trying to focus better to understand what I was seeing. and in a moment it just vanished. But the feeling I had when I looked at it was as if it was almost a familiar feeling, like if I was looking at a familiar face.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And the sphere was probably larger than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty bizarre.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's so interesting because I mean I watch so many like UFO like things where people see these things, and that is one of the things that people bring up to where they're like it was a familiar feeling, especially when it comes to like Christians who have had experiences, like especially when they think maybe it's more of an angel or something like that, something more like that. But they're like, it was a familiar feeling, and also they describe it as a spherical black thing, and it's there and then it's gone. And it's just so interesting that we have two people who have it's different stories, but it's exactly what people usually describe when they're talking about these things. That's so crazy. Wow.
Something that I think is interesting is like, I don't know about you, but Bridger was saying that like prior to the experience, he wasn't like super into like researching this kind of stuff. Were you, prior to that experience, like had you spent a lot of time like reading about them or learning about UFOs, would you say?
So prior to this, around the same time, I was really into the New Age stuff.
Okay.
And I was just very lost and confused. And when I saw that, I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody. I was like, oh no, this is aliens. And if they know I saw them, they're going to come and abduct me. So I kind of just made myself forget about it for a while. Okay. But it kind of made me start to question, like, was this aliens, you know? So I started really getting into that at that point.
Okay. So it was after the sighting.
Got you.
So like what I think is so interesting about that is that it's not like you had immersed yourself with all this knowledge of like, oh, a craft usually looks like this, or usually like Bridger's instance, how it, you darts in these specific patterns. But like, even without that prior knowledge, you still experience like what Toby was saying, like a really, like, what is that term? Like or a lot of, mutual, I guess, like mutual experience of people all over the world experiencing, and not only location wise all over, but like, from hundreds and hundreds of years ago when people were first documenting what they saw.
Right.
It still was the similar kind of visualizations or whatever, but that's such a crazy experience that you had.
Yeah, that's so cool. How is it, if you want to go into it, how is it connected to your testimony? Like, where did it go from there to your testimony?
So I started watching a lot of documentaries, I don't quite remember what they're called, but where they look at like ancient civilizations and things like that.
Yeah, totally.
I started getting heavy into that, and then I started thinking about what is our purpose. I just couldn't fathom the idea of us not having any sort of purpose. So I was just searching for answers. I was I was super fascinated by like the alien ideas,
Totally.
But the only thing that came to make sense was the Bible.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so sick.
It's the difference between a living word and just other information, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Because if we believe we're created, then there's no possible way for us to completely understand everything. So we truly can't lean on our own understanding, and I don't believe there's a God that created us and left us here to be completely clueless.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it reminds me of that verse, I think, in like Isaiah or something that talks about like the potter, does the pottery know more than the potter, or like like, no, we're just the vessels, like we're created, we're not the creators. How do we even think we know anything what we're talking about or whatever, but like you said, he also didn't just plop us down here like, well, good luck and 1,000 years.
Right.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, what's that other verse? I don't remember where it's found, but it's something like he cares about the lilies of the field, and like you are more greater than that or something like
Right.
that, like that. And but he knows like every grain of sand, he knows every hair on your head. And it's just like it is so it's crazy. It's interesting to me that it wasn't like you started at Christian. I mean, I don't know. Did you grow up in like a Christian household, or was it more of like we go to church, or like what was that like?
So I would say that I grew up having a relationship with God. My
Okay.
grandmother kind of planted that seed into me at a young age, but I didn't
Yeah.
necessarily grow up in the church. So when
Okay.
I hit high school and stuff, that's when I started to wander off into the new age and
Got
you
you.
know, yeah, those things.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because
What is your opinion on like?
Do you miss that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
what we saw?
Okay, so we were having this conversation like 2 nights ago, and because I've been like thirsty for knowledge lately, and like just been craving intellectual conversation with people on that
Yeah.
topic. I feel like everyone is bots. Like it's so hard to find like people who are just like wanting to like learn more, you know, and like wanting more
totally.
knowledge.
Welcome to Faith and Folklore.
Yeah.
And what did you share with me? You shared just like that thirst for like knowledge, and I don't know, it was on the topic of kind of what you were sharing about just how we really don't know like anything.
Right.
But I don't know. Sorry, we got a dog in the back over here.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Close the door.
Oh yeah, I'll close the door. You
It's
have
just-
a really
What were we
good.
talking about?
We were talking about just your opinion on like that thirst for knowledge, and just how like uh
How we as people have a thirst for knowledge.
well, yeah, well, and honestly I think it was more, so I think it more had to go or like geared towards like all these things that are coming out, like this information that's coming out, and like aliens and like light years away. It's just, it seems like it could be just the devil, like.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. I could touch up on that. I believe God allows us to see certain things. At the end of the day, I believe God is in control. But
totally.
I don't think we can deny that there is a spiritual reality, you know?
Oh yeah.
And with that comes demons or whatever else.
Yeah.
And I believe, because since that's a part of my testimony, I believe God allowed me to see that to help me follow him, you know?
I think, yeah, God can kind of use, it's God. He can use anything, you know, even
Totally.
that, you know, yeah, he can use whatever it is that's going to speak to you.
Yeah.
Because he knows you and he knows what's going to grab your attention and what you need to see at the time you see it, or the person to meet, or whatever it is.
No, it's like no matter what God gives us, the enemy is also trying to use that against us, you know?
Oh yeah.
What was so mind-blowing to me, like in our conversation, was that basically like the conclusion that we came to in our conversation was, we have all these questions about like what's going on, and like, you know, like what does this mean, and like what does this mean for my purpose, and what does this mean for everybody else, and literally just all of those answers, you will find them somewhere in the Bible.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just like, it, you know, we have all these questions. I think that's what was so, because I've been thirsting for this like knowledge of just like what is going on, like what are we doing here, like where is this even real? And I think that was just the mind-blowing part, was just like, oh, I could literally just find the answer to this question somewhere in the Bible. So.
Yeah, it is so true. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, God's looking out for us, and I think it's interesting that I think a lot of Christians aren't talking about specifically. I mean, it's tough for them to even talk about like demons. They're like, it's all metaphorical, like all of these angels, it's metaphorical. But it's like, if aliens are real and Christians aren't talking about them, that's gonna destroy like all of their like theology and everything if they can't at least be like, okay, there's something we don't like get. There's something we don't understand. And if at least that is there, then they can still have like this faith in God. But if they're putting all of their eggs in a basket to where it's like none of this is real and everything is metaphorical,
Yeah.
like it's
When the
gonna
bottom of the
destroy
basket-
everything. Yeah.
Then the bottom
Yeah.
of the basket goes away and all their
Yeah.
eggs fall and they're just
Exactly. Exactly.
And well, I mean, I think I know for a fact if we, found whichever verse it would be in probably Revelation or somewhere in the Bible, like whatever question, like the way that we're phrasing the question, like what is this UAP or what is this UFO, like what is this alien? There would be a specific answer for that like instance and what that is in the Bible, like where it's
Totally.
like I think it's all spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Or at least have like I think it doesn't shut off that. It doesn't like the Bible isn't like there is no room for any of this stuff. Like there's literally giants in the Bible.
Right.
Like it's not
Yeah.
like this stuff isn't something that like God knew that this was happening. Like he knew that we were going to be like aliens are this and aliens are that. Like he knew that this was happening and he already answered the question. Like
Exactly.
I think he answered the question by maybe not even diving too deep into that stuff. Like the Bible is it is the story of Jesus coming to save us, and that's basically it. And he maybe like was like, hey, here's a giant, or here's a this, here's a that, but it never was it's not a science book, it's not a history book, it's the redemptive
well, it is that too though. It's okay, sorry to cut you off, Toby, but
no, dude, go for it.
So I think kind of on the topic of being strayed, maybe through spiritual force, we're asking the question in the wrong way, where if we ask the same question a little bit differently, like what is this like sphere that's in the sky, or this like thing that doesn't make any sense to me, it's got to be an alien. The Bible explains that as like it gives us the answer in a different way.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think
exactly.
a lot of it is just like semantics. Like we use the word alien.
Yeah. But it could be the word
alien was
angel
not
or
a Hebrew
demon.
word or a
Yeah.
Greek word. So like what they were using different words and they could have been describing the same thing, but so much of it is just language semantics of like, what words were they using to describe what we're describing, and then things that they didn't have that we have nowadays. So we could say, well, it kind of looked like a drone, but it kind of looked like a metal object, but it's just, again, it's like so much of it, I think, is also just layered in like language, words that they have that we don't have and vice versa. And like, I think we're all talking about the same stuff. It's just kind of like lost in translation. And something, Toby, you kind of mentioned it earlier and the thought popped in my head and then it went out, but like how you were talking about, Christians, like if Christians don't talk about this stuff and we don't want to accept it, and we can't even go there mentally, and then something is going to come out in the news, like technology is getting to the point now where if something does happen, you have a camera on you at all times. So like more and more stuff is going to be put out into the interwebs. And so something is going to be coming from that. But it's like also, if Christians aren't stepping into this place and aren't sharing, then the only narrative is going to be Christians. And so why wouldn't we want to like open our mind to it, read the Bible, find the scriptures that talk about, craft, whatever it is, so that then we can form opinions about it and talk to other people and like hear what their opinions are. And, we're not going to know, obviously, but at least we're putting out something other than a total non-Christian narrative as to what.
Because if you don't, then the only answer is the other. Because if people are like, these Christians are saying like that Jesus rose and this and that, but then they're not going to believe in this, then I'm going to go with this because we literally have a physical picture of it. But if we're like, I mean, we might not know the answer, but we know that God knows the answer. I mean, even C.S. Lewis, he wrote a whole paper and like thing about UFOs, about aliens, and about other like things. He basically what he said was like kind of what I was saying, where it was like there is room in the Bible for this stuff, and for us to just say no, that's not it. Like, how dare we like think we can even fathom what God is like thinking? Like, it's just unfathomable. So at least leave your worldview open, like to this stuff.
I so agree with that. Like, why are we putting God in a box?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
God created the box.
God created the box, the freaking box.
There is this verse that I kind of wanted to bring up. It's in 2 Kings 2:11 through 12. And it's talking about when Elijah got picked up by the golden, like this chariot. Basically, okay, I'll just read it. Okay. As they continued along and talked, behold, a chariot of fire with horses of fire appeared suddenly and separated the two of them, and Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Now that, like, people say that could be describing a UFO, like, and it's not that crazy to be like, I mean, if God wants to use this, then he's going to use it, period. Like, and that's it. And then Elijah was gone, and people are like, oh, it's metaphorical. Maybe it is, but like,
or they're like, it was exactly that, like, a chariot, and that's not what UFO is.
Yeah.
Like, well,
I think you guys are right on the idea that as Christians, we are kind of responsible for breaking that language barrier with non-Christians about these things, because it's not really fair or even accurate to just shut down the idea of UFOs, because like you said, it's just a different understanding of something.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so true. It's so true.
Something I was saying a little bit earlier was like, just that, like, for a while it seems as though but like humans, as especially Americans, I guess I can't speak for outside of this country, that the idea of aliens is something that you almost have to convince them of, like Christians included. But now, statistically, I think more than half of Americans would say that they believe that there is something else out there. They don't know exactly what it is, but it's like then that number is growing, and it feels like there is something that's like building, and then like the government lets out a little bit of a something, and like just all these little things, and to me anyway, it feels like something is almost building, like a great reveal almost.
It's a little scary,
like, I don't know who like they are, but they're like building. Like, another way of saying it maybe is like we've had a false narrative, and that false narrative was like aliens aren't real, demons aren't real, angels are kind of real, but like not really that real. Or like we've had this false narrative of like, no, nothing is real. And now, or if they aren't a part of modern society. I think we get that a lot too. Like, oh, well, there used to be demons, but there aren't now. They're not in society. And so then now, like I was saying, like because of technology and like things are going to communication, like whoever they are, they're going to need to like rewrite the narrative because like people, like what we were saying, aren't maybe speaking up about it. So like, let's just call they the government. I hate to do that, but like, let's just say they are the government. Like they're going to have some sort of narrative planned out for when something big does happen. They can go, oh, well, everyone look over here now. Really, aliens are our friends, or aliens are God, or aliens, like there's going to be some story that they're twisting.
Exactly. And where does that come from? That comes from deception, and who brings that? The enemy, right?
Also, like you guys were saying, like a duty that we have as Christians is to speak our like own understanding of this and how important that is. And if we take into context the Bible being the most historically accurate book ever written, we can look, oh my gosh, mom keeps calling me, at verses like this in Ezekiel where it literally speaks about, okay, so it's talking about the word of the Lord coming to Ezekiel, and it says, I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning, surrounded by a brilliant light. The glowing center of fire looked like glowing metal. Like, what have we been seeing lately,
Yes.
right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
in the fire, what looked like four living creatures in appearance, their form was human, but each of them had four faces and four wings.
Yeah.
These crazy things that we're seeing, it's like it's in the Bible, and it's
Right.
the most historically accurate book. So
that's the thing. Yeah.
let's like see what they have to say about it.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, it's I think that's something that we kind of need to take into account, to where I think Katie kind of mentioned it, but this isn't like a new thing. Like, this has been happening for forever, and of course there's going to be some of it in the Bible, because it's like
And it,
like God's got us. So it's like he's like, yeah, here's this thing, because this is going to come up in 2025 and you guys are going to be freaking out, but don't worry, like, it's here in Ezekiel. Now we're going to jump back to this, and it's just kind of like, it's not a new thing. There's always been this stuff.
I'm kind of stealing this from a Joe Rogan podcast that I listened to, but he was speaking about how, like, as a human, people, as humans, we've been talking about this forever, up until like 1940s or 1930s or something, when all of a sudden it was like shunned, like, and if you believed in aliens, then you're crazy, and like you're like, but no, like, we believed in the supernatural for all this time. Like, why did all of a sudden we're just like, nope, that's not a thing anymore, science is science, and you're like,
what the heck? Yeah, it's so true. Like, I think about it's so true with even, like, I mean, just with spiritual stuff in, like I was kind of saying, with any other place, like, witchcraft is just normal thing. Like, that's just how it is. Like, it's not like, oh, are you, like, they go to the witch doctor, and if there's another god better than their god, they're gonna go to that one. That's why when you go to other countries, like, I think people are like, there's not miracles going on. Like, there's not miracles in America, because it doesn't like work like that. Like, in our culture, we've completely despiritualized everything to where it's like if somebody did do that, oh, they're crazy. It's a fake. It's blah 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 blah. Like, but these places to where spiritual like activity is just rampant, and you have all of this stuff, it's like, of course God's gonna be like, do this, do that, like, you have to like use miracles, you are able to do this, like speaking in tongues. Like, I have friends who went to Africa who like did what's the word, removing a demon,
an exorcism.
Yeah, exorcism. He like this kid like started freaking out and like speaking in this, and then he started praying for him, and like that's it. And it's not something that like you're not like, you probably, I think it is in America, but it's disguised as mental like problems, or like all of these like homeless people. Like, it's so sad, but it's like oh, they're just crazy. No, they have like demons attached to them, and exactly, it's like, or they, like you said, they go to like the mental hospital. Like, it's just kind of like all this stuff, it's disguised as, like you said, deception. It's a deception of all of these things. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
America.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. There's so many different conspiracy theories that I dive into, especially when I'm like seeking this knowledge. And so, I think a lot of things. I think, it could be like a energy that's just here that has, like, I don't even know how to describe that, an energy, but
like a bubble almost, or something.
Yes, where like it's just, we're just blinded by this like 5G, and like it's like turning this off.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. We're so busy looking down at our phones that we don't think to look up
totally
to the sky and be like, oh, what's up there? Like, oh, there's stuff going on. Like, okay.
Have you guys seen the movie Don't Look Up?
No,
No,
I have not. We should watch that.
Yes.
That should be a movie that we watch, Katie. Oh my gosh.
Hey, it's
Well,
been fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for
thank
coming
you so
on, Bridger. Our
It was
longest
nice meeting you
episode.
guys.
Yes, it was awesome meeting you. Okay,
All right.
folks.
Take
Peace
it.
Love
out.
you guys.
Bye.
Love you too.
Bye.
Okay, folks. We hope you guys enjoyed this. We hope you enjoyed Bridger and his crazy stories. Like, comment your favorite part. Comment why we're wrong about what we're talking about.
If you have a story that you want to tell us,
Oh yeah, definitely.
then let us know in the comments and we can get in contact. If you don't feel comfortable coming on to the podcast video, you can always record an audio of your story and we can put it on there. So whatever works better for you.
Definitely. But yeah, we'll be back soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.